Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my channel. It is always a pleasure to have you come to my channel. You could be elsewhere, but you're here with me and I thank you. So thank you. If you are not a member, if you have not joined or subscribed, kindly subscribe. Hit the bell icon and receive notifications when something new and something exciting comes along. And today I'm going to speak to the guys who are investing in land, especially for farming purposes. I'm going to share with you tricks and secrets that no one is telling you on what you can be able to do to be able to increase the worth and the ability of your farm to be productive and to be able to be a successful farmer and landholder. So these are the things that you will not just find anywhere. And these are the things that I want to share with you. So one of the things that people don't tell you about is you need to take care of your soil. Remember, if you do take care of your land, it will take care of your basic needs and even much more. So take care of your soil. Kindly ensure that your soil is always covered. Ensure that your soil has enough nutrition and food. Always adding manure and mulching and ensuring that you always have intercropping, ensuring that your land is breathing. You are not constantly overutilizing your land, that it is having a moment to breathe and relax. Again, they will never tell you, but I will tell you. Fertilizer is sometimes harmful to your land. Remember, fertilizer is something that provides quick nutrition to your plants, but it is not sustainable. And I'm here not to tell you how to add manure, to add fertilizers to your land. Because indeed, I want you to look at the long term. I want you to feed your soil permanently and for a longer period of time. So always find a way of adding to your soil and adding things that are releasing nutrition slowly, that are not chemical based. Remember, these fertilizers have a run on your nutrients. Every time it rains, your nutrients are able to leach out of that soil. So I wouldn't recommend going the fertilizer way, especially intensive fertilizer application. Please ensure that your soil is taken care of, that it has the right balance of mulch and nutrition. And if your soil is too hard, that you ensure that it has more humus by adding the manure and the mulching and the hay that it needs. If your soil is too porous, ensure that it has the matter. So ensuring that you take care of your soil is one of the sure ways that your farm is going to be successful. Ladies and gentlemen, the other thing that you need to take care of is to ensure that your soil is not being eroded. Every time rain comes and washes away your soil, it is washing away your money and your investment. Because remember, this soil has life, and this life is what enables your plants and vegetables and trees to grow. But every time there is a run on these resources, it is a run on your account, on your money. Your land requires much more input because a lot of the riches are running with the water. So ensure that you control erosion. How do you go about it? One of the ways is to ensure that your land is always covered. Plant gabions where there is a lot of erosion. Ensure that there are swales and contours on the land so that they control the flow of water. Every time water is rushing quickly across your land, it is taking away valuable nutrition. So be a little selfish with your nutrition. In fact, ladies and gentlemen, one of the reasons that the Nile Dam in Ethiopia is being fought by the Egyptians is not so much because of the water, but because of the nutrition that is running away from the hills in Ethiopia. The rich soil that brings fertility to the land in Egypt. This dam will be able to arrest the amount of soil and silt that would otherwise run across the Nile and into Egypt. This fertility is what Egypt doesn't have. So if Egypt is bringing all these issues because of silt, why should it not bother you every time silt runs away from your land. Remember, this silt is a life that your farm has. So don't let life run out of your land. The other thing is to ensure that you keep as much water as possible. Remember, water is life, guys. Remember, water is what allows your plants to grow. You can always keep water on your land. You can build dams. You can build swales that prevent the water from running away too quickly with the soil also. You can always plant grass. It is interesting. I saw a story on sustainable farming, and a guy sold a business, a chicken, like a KFC, a chicken type of business. It was called church chicken something. So the guy sold his chicken business, chicken and fries business. And he sold the fast food restaurant chain and bought land in a very dry part of Texas, the USA. So when the guy had a lot of money, so he bought land, and he had the mindset of what most commercial farmers and people who come into farming have, that I can spend as much money as I can and drill holes or boreholes in the land and get water and do the farming, the heavy commercial farming, and provide food and change the world. Little did he know, because the land was poorly managed before, overgrazed, and there was a lot of siltation that was running out of the land, and the water was moving too quickly off the land. The guy could not get water, no matter how deep he dug. And the guys would always tell you, let us do another borehole. Let us do another borehole. We think there is water there. We think there is water there. But because the land did not hold water, enough water did not seep under the ground. And the guy had bought dead land. Don't allow your land to be dead because it does not have water. Ensure that this water is keeping into the ground. Every time you see a grassland, you should be able to see ground that is not losing moisture because of evaporation. Every time you see a covered land, it is land that is not losing a lot of that moisture. And remember, this moisture seeps slowly into the ground. It is so effective when you arrest water and the effects that you have. That guys in the dry parts of Kenya, Kitui, have what is called sand dams. They arrest the water that is running away in the seasonal rivers. And this arrested water seeps into the ground. And the guys who have farms around the sand dams have a lot of productivity, even in the dry season. So have that mindset. I want to keep as much water in my land as possible. Guys, when you have a lot of water in your land, you can be able to extend your planting season and your farming season beyond the rainy seasons. By having a dam, it doesn't have to be a big dam. It doesn't have to be lined. Again, it is something that it's not things that I speak of that I have not seen. An uncle of mine constructed a dam, and before he could get money to line the dam, the rains came. So he allowed the rains to come, and he ate the money. And each and every time he would have money to be able to line the dam, the water, the rains would come, and he would not be able to do it. So year after year after year, and he would complain, guys, help me find money so that I can be able to line this dam and get money to get water to be able to do my onion farming. But the funny thing is, the water was not disappearing. Even though it was seeping in the ground, it was not disappearing. On another end of the farm, there was a spring. A spring came out of the land. And the amount of grass that was growing around the dam was sufficient to provide enough hay that he would be able to harvest and sell to cattle farmers in the dry season, bringing sufficient income. Guys, think beyond what you already know. Think about the water and how you can keep this water on your land. Doesn't matter where the land is, whether it is in a dry place or in a wet place. Keep the water on your land. The other thing that you could be able to do is, of course, control overstocking of animals on your land. Every time you overstock animals, especially cattle and goats and pigs and sheep, they eat too much of the ground cover. And they cannot sustain your animals going forward. So every time There is a dry season coming. Control, cull the animals, slaughter and sell the meat and sell the cows and sell the cattle when the amount of grass is coming to an end. Control how much you lose in terms of cover on your land. Again, the reason we have so many conflicts in Africa and other areas because of pastoralists and farmers is because pastoralists acquire too many animals and they cannot be able to sustain on the land that they graze. So they have to move out and about eating some of the crops of these farmers. And that is where we have conflict because they have too many animals that are unsustainable. So in your land that you have, do not keep too many animals, especially when your ground cover is running low. Plan ahead and be able to keep your land always covered. Ladies and gentlemen, these are some of the easy principles of sustainable farming. Remember, farming can only happen when there is moisture, when there is nutrition, and when there is sun. Sun is readily available, but ensure that the soil is rich and nutritious. Ensure that the moisture is not running out of your land by evaporation and by running out because you have not made swales. Again, swales are like pits that you dig in your land along your contour so that water does not run off quickly. When you have this much water on your land, even your trees thrive. Even your plants thrive because they have readily available water. And every time you plant, ensure that you have done mulching on those plants so that the moisture around the roots of the plant are always moist. Ladies and gentlemen, you don't need to do too much irrigation and spend too much money on fertilizers. Use these tips that I have given you and you will see the productivity of your land grow significantly. Again, it is important to also mimic what nature does. Remember, forests do not have people who add fertilizers to them. They grow on their own. In fact, they are so productive that most forests are so closely knit. There are so many trees in one specific area and so many species. Remember, one of the things that you need to do is just mimic what nature is providing, and you'll be able to cut down on your costs significantly. So ensure that when you plant, you are intercropping. Ensure that when you plant, you're planting crops that are not competing for the same resources. Ensure that when you plant, you are sustaining your moisture and you're keeping your soil from eroding. These tips are going to help you in farming. These tips are going to help you when you have a fruit farm, or when you have a forest, or when you have all types of farming and practices. So ensure that you are a smart farmer. You are following what nature is providing. You are being sustainable. And remember, guys, when you are sustainable, you are also economical. You're not spending too much on your farm. Let your farm be productive and not a money pit. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for coming to my channel. If you have found these tips useful, kindly subscribe and hit on the bell icon so that you can receive notification on these topics and other topics that are going to help you financially and how to increase your net worth and the value of your life and that of your finances. So thank you and enjoy 2021.